With us now is Len Marks, and he's with Len Marks Photography. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
How have you been? Good?
Very good, thank you.
Now, what makes your photography different than another photographer's?
Well, I specialize in headshots, professional, business professional, and theatrical headshots. And my photography is not about cameras and equipment and lenses. It's about human interaction. You know, what happens 6 feet between my lens and my subject is what makes the photograph. Where other sorts of photography are driven by technology and After Effects and post-production, headshots are not about that. It's about getting the most natural look I possibly can from my client.
Well, I know a lot of times you make me laugh, which makes my nose always wrinkle, right?
Right.
But sometimes I don't know you're taking my pictures, and sometimes
Right.
those are the times that you're capturing me. You know?
Residual laughter is what it's called, and that is where the magic happens. By just having a good time while we're creating these images, it brings out who you are and what you're all about and your personality. If you're a smiley, laughing person, then that comes out, and that's what I need to capture. If you're more serious, it's kind of neat to look at people who are. They have a very, very serious personality,
Like a
but
deep
then
thinker?
Yeah, a deep thinker. But we get them smiling and laughing, and that is their true personality. And for a headshot, that's what you need. You need realism. You can't. It's not about makeup and lights, and it's not fantasy. It's true reality. Unlike a portrait, where you could play with it a little bit, but this isn't a portrait. It's a business tool. Or it's your calling card if you're an actor to go to show people who you are.
I think it's interesting sometimes too when somebody gets a promotion and you'll read about it in a magazine or a newspaper, but it doesn't look like the person because they're using their high school picture,
Right.
and that might have been the
Right.
last time they've had a formal picture
Exactly.
taken of them.
Exactly.
So how can you, I guess, reach out to them and let them know, I guess through awareness, right? Just to let them know that maybe it's time to get a new headshot. How
Oh,
often do you think
absolutely.
somebody should get a headshot? Certainly not using their high school
No.
photo anymore.
Well, we'll start with the actors. I mean, actors, if you're young, if you're a child, every year, because you're growing and you're changing and your look is changing. Adults, it could be every 2 years or so, because you definitely change and your interests might change and your approach to getting work might change. So you have to have a headshot that matches who you are.
And you do both studio and on location work.
Studio on location, yes.
I know the last time we were together, we shot at Jewel Restaurant, which was so nice. Tom Shadell let us use
Right.
his facility.
That
so
was great.
so you're able to either come and do somebody's corporate
Right.
portrait in their
Right.
I guess their office or their home, but they
Right.
could come to you.
They could come to me if they're large groups. If they're actors, and perhaps it's an acting school, I can come to them. They could come to me. If it's a corporate client, if it's a lawyer, or if it's they're realtors, that I go to them. We set up in a conference room. We spend the day. We bring makeup. We bring lighting. We bring hairstyle. We bring a whole production to them, and just have some fun. We order lunch. We have fun, and we get we get the real looks of who these people are, and it matches. The important part is that it matches the consistency of their marketing, of their branding, of their look. They need to look like their business.
Now, how did you discover photography? What was the moment of motivation for you?
I was very young. I was literally in kindergarten, and my oldest brother was at a photography school in Manhattan, and they brought me in as a child model. And from that point on, I loved photography. And then I was just an amateur photographer for years and years and years. And one day I had the privilege of doing a local musician. And the results were so fantastic that it just inspired me to become a photographer. Fast forward 25 years, here I am. I'm still in the business.
But I also love the fact that you also mentor other photographers.
Yes.
Like we have Lindsay here on the set, and you're like, kind of giving her some tips and
Yeah.
pointers. And I see other times you'll bring,
Right.
I guess production assistants with you.
Right.
What makes you feel like you want to give back to your art form now?
It is thrilling to see the light bulb go off in someone's head, and I'm always teaching. I'm a lifelong student of light. I love light and natural light, and or balancing natural with artificial light, and I love to teach that because that's a skill, unfortunately, that is dying in my industry. Computers and digital imaging have made it very easy to become a photographer. They've made it very easy to pick up a camera, point it, shoot the button, push the button, and create a decent image. And unfortunately, a lot of the photographers today have no clue as to what light really is and how to look for it, how to find it, and how to control it. So I love to give that knowledge, which my mentors did for me. They were gracious to give me their knowledge. So it's time for me to give back. I really enjoy it. There's something very fulfilling about that.
Well, that's one of the things I noticed about you, and I always thought that maybe is the one thing that does make you different. I asked you earlier what makes you different.
Right.
Yes, it is the rapport that you have with your clients, but I think it's your heart that makes you a little bit different. You put your heart into what you do, and it really shows. So thanks for coming down and
thanks for having me.
spending some time on Live It Up. And I'm excited because we're going to go backstage, and I'm going to get to take some pictures of you. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, they brought in like this little tiny camera. I don't know,
good.
but maybe you can give me some tips and pointers on that.
I'll teach.
There you go. So stay tuned for more on Live It Up. I've been visiting with Len Marks from Len Marks Photography.